short right here.
I've said it from day one. He will never be world champion.
Is that because you don't like him?
No.
Or is that because you don't think he's got the capability?
I'll tell you the reason why. Simon, because I've been in the ring with him. I know the difference between your David Lemieux, why I can see why they were world champion, your Andy Lees, why they were world champion, even John Ryder. Eubank can fight, but he just can't box.
Right.
That's the problem. He can fight, but he can't box. Eubank is, when we were going back 24, 25, like a wind-up toy, you could get him fit, wind him up, let him go, and he'd go all day.
Yeah.
Now we're at the stage of 33, 34, where you've got to learn to pace yourself, pick your punches, flow around. No disrespect to Liam Smith, but he was no different than a punch bag.
Well, you don't think he's going to win a world title?
He'll never, ever, ever be... I'll tell you what I would do with you, Simon. I'll have a bet with you now, and I'll give you 2-1, and I will pay me bets.
Well, I'm not like judges, are we? Yeah.
I will pay me bets. He'll never be world champion as long as he's got an O on his ass.
Chris Eubank Jr. is leaving no stone unturned in the training camp as he sharpens his weapons for what could be one of the most heated rivalries in British boxing today. With the fire of unfinished business still burning, Eubank is training harder than ever, laser focused on dishing out another painful lesson to Conor Benn. The first clash between the two already set the stage for a generational grudge, but this time the stakes feel even higher with pride, legacy, and bragging rights on the line. Fans are buzzing, the anticipation is climbing, and Eubank is determined to prove once again that when it comes to this rivalry, there's only one man built for dominance. That's why he switched things up in the corner. Out goes Jonathan Banks, a respected name in the game, and back comes Brian Bomac McIntyre, the man who helped Eubank flip the script in their last rematch. This time the message is simple. No coasting, no playing safe, no 12-round chess match. Eubank wants Ben stopped, and with Bomac's aggressive approach, he's convinced they'll make it 2 for 2 when the bell rings.
How important is it that Bomac is back, and is it disappointing that there's no longer Jonathan Banks there, who is, again, a top trainer?
Jonathan Banks, an amazing coach, an amazing trainer, amazing person. You know, it was just simply a fact of me and the team wanting a different approach to this fight the second time around. We don't want the fight going 12 rounds. So that means we have to, you know, the best chance of that is to employ a different strategy, have different tactics, have a different mindset on what it is we need to do with Conor Benn in that ring. That's why we brought Bomac in. Me and Bomac are 1-0 when it comes to rematches. We're about to make it 2-0.
And while he's as confident as ever, Eubank hasn't forgotten what Ben showed the first time around. He admits he expected the younger man to crumble under pressure, but instead Ben dug deep, absorbed punishment, and kept coming when many fighters would have folded. That grit earned Eubank's respect, but it also sharpened his focus. If Ben refuses to quit, then Eubank is determined to take the choice away from him in the rematch.
Chris, on the build-up to the previous fight, you were fairly dismissive about the threat that Conor Benn were to pose to you. You seemed to think that it was almost a write-off and you were very confident as you entered the ring. Post-fight, you were quite complimentary about Conor Benn. I think you openly said that he surprised you. He had the fight and the wherewithal that perhaps shocked you a touch. Going into this fight, are you still as confident as you were in that first fight, or did anything that happened in the fight shock you?
I'm extremely confident. Nothing shocked me, but I was surprised, or I wasn't expecting that he would have the grit and the determination that he did. You know, I thought he would quit at the first sign of hardship, of things not going his way. And there was a lot of that in that fight for him. And he didn't give up, which so many fighters these days do. When they know they're not going to win, when they know they're hurt, when they know they're behind on the scorecards, they'll take a knee or they won't get up off the stool. He didn't do that. So in that respect, I give him his credit.
And that has him practicing his punches before the bout.
Ain't nobody killing everybody that's outside. I be a Kanye champion like, well, me, I'm still an old school. Let me jump in this bitch. 2 phones, but I only bring
Bomac, teaming up with Chris Eubank Jr. has been both a challenge and a thrill. He's quick to acknowledge the pride of working with one of Britain's top fighters, especially the son of a legend who carved his name into boxing history. But Eubank Jr., he admits, isn't like anyone else with his personality, his energy, his approach to the game are all uniquely his own. It took a little time to adjust, but once Bomac tuned into Eubank's rhythm, he found a fighter who keeps him on his toes in the gym and brings just as much fire to the spotlight outside of it.
Okay, Bomac, what's it like working with Eubank Jr., both in training and in the media?
Well, working with Chris, to me, it's a joy to work with a top fighter from over here, from England, and to add love to it. His father being who he is, a legend. But it took me a minute to get used to Chris. He's kind of unique in himself.
Which one, senior or junior?
Junior.
What stood out to Bomac most was just how different Chris Eubank Jr. is compared to the usual fighter he works with. In camp, there are no games, no wasted minutes, and certainly no small talk to pass the time. He doesn't bother with picking playlists for the gym or easing into the day with casual banter, as Eubank is strictly business from the second he walks through the doors. Gloves go on, head goes down, and before Bomac has even had a chance to ask if he's ready, Chris is already hitting the bag or drilling through the first exercise. That same attitude carries through to the end as well. Once the work is done, he doesn't hang around or linger. He's out just as quickly as he came in. For Bomac, that no-nonsense approach might seem unusual, even cold, but it tells him something important. Eubank is wired differently. He's focused in a way few fighters are, carrying a level of discipline, tunnel vision, and relentless drive in his preparation that makes him a tough puzzle for anyone to solve.
Right. In what way?
He doesn't talk much. He really doesn't.
He doesn't talk much.
He doesn't talk much in camp. He comes in. He's one of the only fighters I ever seen come in and he's ready right away.
Okay.
He'll get straight to work. So as a trainer, you got to watch him and say, "You ready?" Ask him, "Is he ready?" Or because most fighters come in, what they do, they mess around a little bit, try to get the music together. You don't want to talk to the other fighters, but Chris is one of those guys to come in, get straight to work, and then once he get done, he complete his work.
That relentlessly can clearly be felt in his pad work. UFC experts have their predictions on the rematch, and Eddie Hearn isn't shy about what's at stake here. He calls the first fight an unforgettable war with two men emptying the tank, pushing past exhaustion, and leaving it all in the ring. As much as he stands in Ben's corner, Hearn tips his hat to Eubank for the grit he showed to pull out the win that night. But he insists this time will be different. Ben won't be weighed down by ring rust, scandals, or the jump to middleweight. Instead, Hearn promises a sharper, meaner, more ruthless version of his fighter, one ready to bring controlled violence under the Tottenham lights. For him, November 15th is about revenge, about balance, and about making it 1-1 in a rivalry that has gripped British boxing.
I mean, look, obviously, first time around, what we saw was an incredible battle. One of the greatest battles I've seen in the history of boxing. And, despite our differences, I have to give respect to Chris Eubank Jr. for the depths that he went to in that fight for victory. Both guys were exhausted physically. Both guys gave every inch of their soul. But this time around, it's going to be different. Conor Benn was plagued with inactivity, the controversy of everything that happened, his first fight up at 160. This time we will be controlled, we will be spiteful, and we will continue to be violent. And on November the 15th, we truly believe that we will get the equaliser back at Tottenham. 1-1 to settle the score. Live and exclusive on DAZN around the world.
And then there is Carl Froch, who has been through nights like these before, and his advice to Conor Benn is straightforward. Stay composed, don't burn through energy, and fight smart. He urges Benn to use movement, jabs, and feints to draw Eubank in, then pick the right moments to turn up the heat. Eubank, he reminds him, is durable and relentless, built tough like his father, but not a devastating puncher. The real challenge is his size at 160, a weight where pressure feels heavier and every exchange drains that bit more. Froch's message is simple: conserve your gas, keep it technical early, and when the opening comes, make it count.
I'd like to see you calm it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Just on the outside, just the movement,
Yeah,
just steady it down.
That's boring though, Carl.
No. On the outside, man, you don't want to be chucking energy away and burning down the bar. Think of it.
It's boring.
No, it's not boring, because then you get in range and make it exciting. I'm talking about technically on the outside, and I'm not telling Tony Sims how to do his job, but just calm me down a little bit on the outside. Little feints, little jabs, little movements, just little shows. Have a look at this, trigger him, and then have a fight with him.
Yeah.
Don't burn anything. Waste 12 rounds, man. He's tough. One thing about him he's inherited from his dad is a toughness.
Yeah.
I don't think he's a massive bang on me. I've done a lot of sparring with Chris Eubank. What do you think? Does he punch?
Ain't the biggest punches.
His punch power didn't bother you?
No. It's weight. You can feel the size in
extra
there.
weight, yeah.
You can feel the size in there. Not for any
Absolutely.
reason. Just like it's just harder, isn't it?
Yeah.
It just makes it harder. The fighters that bowl over at 147
Yeah.
don't have quite the same effect at 160.
No. It's amazing you've gone up 2 divisions. And
Like, that's
held your
mad.
own.
I'm looking at you going.
I'm a super middle.
Yeah, so he's not far off your stamp.
No, he's not. And he's fought with me. He
Do you know
fought
what I mean?
George
So I'm
Groves.
looking at me and I'm looking at you and I'm going, he's not far off your
Yeah.
stamp, but in my head.
He fought
I
George
don't-
Groves in the Super Series.
Yeah.
It was a close fight. And he's a 168 fighter, George Groves. And he can bang a little bit, as I found out in that first fight.
Whereas Vidal Riley sees the fight as two men chasing very different goals. For Conor Benn, it's about legacy and building toward a world title, thinking long-term about where his career is heading. For Chris Eubank Jr., though, it's about the money. He's already beaten Benn once, knows he can do it again, and another big payday is too good to pass up. Riley's message is simple. Benn is focused on the bigger picture, while Eubank is looking to cash in while he still can.
Conor Benn does have the chance to become a legitimate world champion and have a different phase to his career, to what he's had. Chris, it's about cash. That's what it's about. At this time, not that he's in need for cash, but everyone wants more. So if you can get 2 big money fights back to back against someone you know you're more than capable of beating, you've proven you can beat them, why not take it again? For Conor, it's about the long road, about the mileage, about how you're going to feel in a year's time, 2 years' time. Where do you want to go in your career? What do you see as the final picture? Loaded, or made the decisions to take me on the world champion route and still end up loaded?
However, Liam Smith gave a strong warning about Eubank Jr., saying the weight and rehydration rules might hurt him more this time. He pointed out the years of wear and tear, the signs of age, and even the braces Eubank uses in training as proof his body isn't the same. Smith believes this rematch isn't just a repeat. He thinks the younger and hungrier Conor Benn could take advantage of an older Eubank and turn the fight in his favors.
Got to get your thoughts. The rematch between Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn, November 14th, 15th, I believe. If it's the same stipulations in terms of weight, rehydration clause, I'm seeing a lot of people think that could tip the scales in Conor's favour as Chris gets older, tighter at the weight. What's your read on it?
Regardless of the weight, I think I bring Conor into the fight more next time. Regardless, I think Chris is getting older and starting to look older, and I think that fight won't have done him any favours. I think that'll have put even more miles on the clock with Chris. Seeing Chris training with knee braces on, elbow braces, stuff like that. I give Conor a real chance next time.
Smith pointed out that Eubanks may not be what it once was, hinting that Chris now sees the rematch more as business than ambition, and he's already beaten Benn once, made millions doing it, and probably fancies repeating the trick for another big payday. While Smith was clear that if Eubank shows up in the same form as the first fight, the route to victory is still there, he also questioned whether that version of Chris still exists. To him, Eubank looks like a fighter carrying years of wear and tear, showing signs of slowing down, and maybe only a fight or two from the end. That, Smith believes, makes this rematch far more dangerous, because it gives the younger, hungrier Benn a real chance to step in, capitalize, and flip the rivalry on its head.
Eddie said that he said even before the first fight, but sort of amplified now, that Chris's hunger's dwindling and Conor's still in that stage where, he wants to take on the world. Would you think that's accurate? Do you think Chris has still got the same hunger as he did a few years ago?
I don't know. I just think Chris could look at, without knowing you're done, Chris will look at it like, I've just beat Conor, because he did beat Conor the first time round, for millions, and I'll beat him again for even more money next time round, and I think that'll be Chris's angle on it, and the when. Chris has, he's got that way about him. We'll fight when I'm ready to fight, and that's why he's delayed it till November.
Is there a route for a victory for Chris in that fight? If you were advising him, if you were coaching him, what would you go for?
If he turns up the same way he did last time, then it's a route to victory, because I think Conor outperformed last time. I think Conor performed very well for the Conor Benn, and Chris won the fight. So if Chris turns up like he did last time, then he's got a chance. But I thought Chris looked, as I said, 1 or 2 fights away from being done.
Hamza Shiraz built on that perspective, arguing that Ben now comes in with a clear edge. He pointed to just how draining the first fight and weight cut had been on Eubank, warning that his body may not fully recover if put through the same again. In contrast, Ben is younger, fresher, and bursting with energy, and crucially, he now knows exactly what he can do after going the distance the first time. Shiraz believes that blend of youth, resilience, and experience could tilt things in Ben's favor, giving him not just a real shot at victory, but even the chance to force a stoppage. And if that happens, the rematch might not only match the intensity of their first battle, it could eclipse it, delivering an even bigger spectacle.
Let me ask you lastly, Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr., the rematch has been announced. We kind of hear it's the same stipulations as last time in terms of weight, rehydration, etc.
It's the same thing?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought they'd change it a bit. It's an interesting one, and I think Conor Benn will get the win. I think he'll get the win. I feel like Eubank Jr. doing that all again. It's not like he's young and his body can recover from it. His body wouldn't have recovered from what happened to him last time in terms of the weight cut and that fight as well. It took a lot out of him. Took a lot out of both of them, but I feel like Conor Benn will be.
So the big question is, can Chris Eubank Jr. dig deep and secure another victory, or is the edge starting to shift toward Conor Benn this time around? We'd love to hear your take. Drop your thoughts in the comments below and join the debate. And if you don't want to miss any of the latest updates, analysis, and behind-the-scenes drama from the fight world, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay locked in with us.